Hey guys, Frank here, your virtual general aviation aviator, and today have I got a treat for you. At least it's a treat for me. I am going to count down my 5 favorite freeware GA general aviation aircraft, and I am going to rank them in my order of least best to best, or favorite to most favorite. Now, with that said, this is just my personal ranking, and every aircraft that's in my list is in my list because it is a highly detailed flight model. It's just a great aircraft, and the best of all, it's free. Some of them you probably already have in your virtual hangar, and some of them you may want to consider adding to your virtual hangar. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, so one other housekeeping note. I'm going to spawn in at several airports. Well, each airport that I spawn in, I will feature a different plane, and all of the airports that I'm spawning in to today are going to be airports are going to be payware airports by Virtual Sim. Now, generally, I don't buy payware airports, but Virtual Sim make such great airports that I thought this would be a good time to feature some of his work because he does such good and detailed work. Look at the right now. I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and look how masterful he has modeled this small regional airport. And small regionals is something that go hand in hand with GA airports. Anyway, before I get too far off the beaten path, let's get in the cockpit and get started. Number 5, the Airbus DR 401 Robin, or the Robin DR 401 by Airbus. So this is it, and yeah, so immediately you can see how well this guy's modeled. Just look at the detail. The fairings on the wheels are look realistic, in my opinion. I can see the threads on the actual tires, and I'm one of those guys who don't spend a lot of time outside the aircraft. So, just by doing this video and looking at the exterior closely of the aircraft, it's kind of a treat for me also. Let's get into the cockpit. This is where I'm most comfortable in all of the aircraft that I fly. All right, so we'll start by taking a quick look around the cockpit. The textures on the chairs are, I can see the texture, and the texture is really good, but I'm trying to see if I can't feel in my mind's eye what this material feel like. I can't tell if it's a hard plastic or soft plastic, but I see the stitch. So, well, I can't tell if it's a plastic or a fabric. The color and the stitching is immaculate. The seat belts, I looked at the seat belts earlier, and to be honest with you, I'm impressed by the detail in the seat belt. I mean, that is something that wouldn't impress most folks, but look at the detail, and I know that well, that's just impressive to me. Um, okay, so back in the cockpit, I'm going to fly all of these aircraft without checklists, so you guys bear with me. All right, so let's turn our master battery on. We already got our fuel turned on, and let's check our fuel quantity. We got what is that, about 11 gallons, so that's enough for the pattern. And let's turn our master engine I master engine on, and starting this guy is almost like starting a car. So my brake is set, my my throttle is not cracked at all, and I'm just going to hit the start button, and just like that, I'm started. All right. All right. So we're lined up on 2.8. Flaps in, our strobe lights can come on, our landing lights can come on, taxi lights can go off, and flaps down is indicated. And let's do this. So we're SV's alive. 55, rotate. And that wind is, I can feel it. Some trim in. I think I got a 14 knot head. Flaps out. I turn the crosswind. Get out. Get it too high. Start my turn to downwind. Down that parallel brake. Trim some of this some speed out. So I'm a beam almost. Get flap range. And first not the flaps. Power at about 1,500 RPMs, and I do have this strong head. Okay, so I want about 500 foot a minute descent. It's really hard to maintain and come in a little bit so I can see a little bit better. Alright, a sharp turn. So I think the wind is kind of blowing me over. The 4 flaps here because I'm a little higher than I want to be. I want my touchdown speed of about 62. So I'm managing my power with the flaps under a little bit of trim. And I'm managing that power and trim. Alright, eyes to the end of the runway. Using my peripheral vision to kind of let me know when to flare. bring in, power up, and go ahead and spare. Bring my power out. There we go. That's much better. That's much better. So yeah, it takes flying these guys to get the hang of it. So let's take it back to the hangar, to the FBO. We were at Signature in Fayetteville. So let's stop and clean up. And I use FLTT, FLT, and it's actually two T's. So FLT is flaps, lights, trim, and transponder, or flaps, light, transponder, and trim, however you want to do it. Flaps, lights, trim, and even in the sim, just like in real life, the more you fly an aircraft, the better you get at flying it. So the immersion come with doing all the things as much in the sim as we can to emulate what we do in real life. And of course, there's some things that we can't do, some things that we can't feel, but we also don't have the risk of death. So we can get away with some things. Anyway, guys, this is the Aerobass Robin DR401. So number 5. Number 4 is the ZLIN 142, which is absolutely freeware, and it is modeled great. This is the outside view. And this time I'm at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, another one of Vertical Sim's airports. And you can see the immaculate mastery of an airport this is. Let's see, let's just take a quick peeks at the airport. So yeah, this is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You can see the Atlantic Ocean, and just pan around, and so you can see how much work Vertical Sim has put into this airport. Looks great. It really does. Traffic Global is running in the background, so that's the traffic that you see. So yeah, back to the aircraft, the ZLIN 142. So what we'll do is we'll take this around the circuit at Myrtle Beach around the traffic pattern, and let's get in the aircraft. Well, before we get in the cockpit, let's just look around the outside just a little bit more. Change my view. So I've got I got an operable door here somewhere. Yeah, so this is the door that operates, and you can see I got the battery. And let's see if there's any click spots in here, so I can remove the battery and replace it. All right, and let's go ahead and shut that. Get the battery back in. So yeah, and now let's get in the cockpit. So I've got these shades here that I can open up, and of course, so I can get plenty good sunlight in it. And if there's too much sun, I can close them. So if that ain't cool for freeware, I mean, you know, I can see the stuff working, being in the plane, but for it to be modeled in a free plane is what blows me away. Okay, so park and brake. is set. Parking brake is set. Fuel valve is open. And we can turn on our accessory toggle, generator toggle, and our starter toggle. Okay, and we turn our master on. I should get a generator light, and I do. And we'll make our mats hot. All right, we'll clear left, and we'll clear right. Prop clear. Turn on our supercharger. And set our mixture to 4. And let's hope for a good start. And we got a good start, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Now, one thing about the ZLIN is it uses the equivalent of a whiskey compass for navigation, so you don't have anything down here to look at to determine which direction you are headed. I do know that my runway heading is 360, so when I turn on my runway heading, I can get a cross check there. So yeah, let's make this happen. So I have to actually flip this to the tower. Tower frequency. Myrtle Beach Tower, ZLIN 684 Charlie Mike is ready for takeoff. Left close traffic. Clear for takeoff. 684 Charlie Mike. So I'm going to power up to full power. Release my brakes. A little right rudder. So far not giving much. Airspeed's alive. 60 knots. Rotate. And a little right rudder now. Hold that runway heading. Lower that nose a little bit. Let's get up to about 90. So I did check on the scenery, and I am generating autogen in other areas, in some other areas, so I'm not sure what's going on with the scenery for Myrtle Beach. But I didn't want to play around with it just yet. All right, so go ahead and make this turn. What is my altitude? Yep, coming up on 1,000. So go ahead and make this turn. It's the highway, and then make this turn back to parallel with the runway. Should be just about a pattern. All right, so pull that power back. Strobes come off. Go ahead and throw my nav lights back on. and take those flaps off that I should have took out doing after 300 AGL. But one thing about flaps, the only thing they do is cause you to slow down and burn more gas. Trim it up a little bit. Stop losing my altitude. Myrtle Beach Tower, Charlie 84. November 84, Charlie Mike is midfield. Clear for the option. ZLIN 8684, Charlie Mike. Alright, so I'm going to beam the numbers. So this is where I want to pull that, pull it back, pull my nose up, throw in a notch of flaps, and maintain my speed. I'm going to look for 80. Alright, turn into base, and that boardwalk. Let's make a sharp turn here. Don't want to stall. Give me another. I'm at 4 flaps now. And check my flap handle. Can't butter one. Hadn't been able to butter in this guy. Okay, eyes to the end of the field. Track that center line. Flare. Pour that power. And pour in late flare. Alright, well. Probably need to fly this guy a few more times around the pattern to butter it, but you get an idea about how immersive this aircraft is and can be. You see a lot of the systems that work, and okay, so get my flaps out and lights, strobe lights off, landing lights off, taxi lights on, and let's see, okay, and then we'll go up here and shut down. Where were we parked before? But once we cross the yellow brick road, we'll just stop and park, and we'll park here. All right. So let's set our brake. Brake is set, and we did FL flaps, lights. Then we got to do TT, trim and transponder. So there is transponder, can go off, standby, off, okay, and then trim. All right, and let's turn this mixture down and cut these switches. and this will kill our power. And then let's kill our gas. All right, let's cool our mags off. And mags are not hot now. Don't worry about it. I have to worry about a wind starting the engine, a gust of wind starting the engine. All right, and yeah, so that's it for the ZLIN 142. It's really a fun aircraft to fly, and so you guys, if it ain't in your hangar, you should put it there. Anyway, so on to the next one. Number 3, another one of my favorite general aviation freeware aircraft is the Yak. Now, Yakety Yak, don't talk back. Some of you guys might remember that song. Anyway, so this is the Yak, and when you get it, it comes in 2 variants. It comes in this this 3-prop variant, and you can get it. Let's see, I don't know how easily you can see that, but you can get it in a 2-prop variant. Actually, a 2-prop. It comes in a single prop variant and a 3-prop variant. So yeah, this is the one that I like to fly. This is actually 3 props because the props terminate here. And I don't know if the other one, if the prop go all the way through or not on the other one. But anyway, I digress. So just check out the modeling, guys, of this aircraft. Air intake here. So that's some ram air capture. Look at the threads on the tires; they look good. The fins on the main air intake, and so just looking around. And this one is marked experimental. I think it may be certified in some countries. I think this one is Ukrainian, Russian, or something. I have to look that up for you guys. See what I can find out. But yeah, so our tail number is 36 Yankee Kilo. And I wonder if I can remember that. To write that down so I have something to refer to. Yeah, so yeah, it's a good size aircraft. I think it's a 4-place aircraft. Um, yep, 4-place, and let's jump in the cockpit and look around. Cockpit ventilation. All right. So what I learned about the Yak is it is a Russian-built aircraft. The cabin is not that much larger than the cabin of a Cessna or 172, or even a Piper Warrior or Archer, but it's a much, much heavier aircraft, and it has a much larger engine than the Cessna or the Warrior, Archer, the Pipers, and whatnot. All right, so let's see if we can't get her started. So prime it, and it's got a couple of English translations on some of this stuff. Like there's a starter, primer, stall, low speed. So yeah, so I got some translations that ought to help. Let me get back out. Sorry, guys. I'm at Norfolk this time, Norfolk, Virginia. And this is another one of Vertical Sim's airports. And you see, I do have some auto-gen and some auto-generated traffic. But I don't on the airport, but that's okay. Not sure I would have had automated traffic on the default airport. But yeah, the airport looks gorgeous. The tower, In fact, you know, when it comes to these airports, look, a blast shield, so this must be a run-up um, area, I think. I may be a de-icing section. And moving on, just looking at the scenery here, Norfolk. This kind of stuff here should be more real to life than than the scenery that I see in X-Plane. All right, so yeah, get an idea of what the Norfolk Airport looks like. All right, so let's go back to general aviation and back to our yak. And as I was about to say, let's get started here. All right. So the first thing I want to do, I imagine, is check my brakes, make sure that they are engaged. So this is released, this is set. Okay, parking brakes are set. Okay, fuel. Make sure we got fuel turned on. All right, that's my prop and my throttle. So prop 4, crack the throttle, and mags are cold. All right, battery on, generator on, ignition on, and beacon light on. PT 200 convention. I'm not sure what that is. Stall speed. I'm not. I guess that would be an indicator. Instrument lights. Let's go ahead and turn those on for your benefit, because I know that you can really see the instrument lights when those lights are on. Emergency lights, cockpit lights, strobes, pitot heat, and stall warning. All right, so I have those on. And let's make our mags hot. Actually, I was wrong. Mags was, well, yeah, the mags is off, but now they're on. And I just touched it, and I got a good start. All right, so this guy was extremely easy to start up. Okay, so in the other variant, I should only have a prop and no mixture, because the other variant is fixed pitch, and this is constant speed prop. All right, so I do have a whiskey compass, and I don't think I have. I think I use this compass as my heading bug also. So and we are going to take the runway and take off. Full power there. The right rudder. And apparently I was out of trim because I felt like I took off a little early. So I'm trimming it down, trimming my nose down as we speak. You know, I was playing with that trim on the ground. All right, gear up. And I didn't look at the chart close enough to see if there's a traffic pattern for Norfolk. but we're coming up on 1,000, so I'm just gonna make left traffic here. So let's look for that runway and get parallel to it. Okay, I'm parallel to the runway now. That way I don't have to focus a lot on my gauges. And pull that prop back a little bit and power back. Actually, I'm a little bit under where I need to be. She may be big and heavy, but she's kind of fast too. Because look at where I'm at. What is my speed? So I'm actually I was on a heading of 2-4. See now, I took off on 05. And I'm looking at a airport diagram, and I don't see a 5 on my airport diagram. I see a 18 and 2-3, a 1-4 and 3-2 for Norfolk. So I'm gonna land and do a full stop here. Check where I'm at. Alright, so I'm looking for the airport. Okay, so yeah, I was way off tracking out, not parallel with the runway. At least I don't think I was. But let me drop my gear. And I'll do a no flap landing. Or maybe we put a little flap in on landing so we can slow down. But we got such big flaps, I want to almost have the runway made. Alright, let's put them big flaps in, and she balloons like a balloon. And literally having to push that nose over to get it in. But that slows her down greatly. All right, don't want to get too slow, and actually I should have put carb heat in. Too late now. So it kind of got off when I put the carb heat in, but yeah, that big old set of belly flaps just got me floating around. All right, let's flare. Acceptable. All right. This is an interesting aircraft. It's Russian. Russian aircraft flown in Norfolk, Virginia. And let's go ahead and get off the runway here. And clean up. flaps. So flaps were already up. Lights. Strobes can go off. Landing lights can go off. But I'm going to turn my landing lights back on because I don't have taxi lights. And nobody's coming, so I'm not blinding anybody. FLTT transponder and trim. Transponder, we'll just throw that on standby. And trim. I don't have a reference for trimming. There may be a reference for trimming somewhere in this aircraft, but if there is, I don't know where it's at. That's why on that first takeoff, I took off and became airborne without rotating at all. All right, so we are going to pull over. Let's say we're going to taxi up. I taxi up over here, and so we should. Ooh, my bad. Tell you, take your eyes off the runway and in the grass in the sim. All right, so we should be on Foxtrot. And I'm looking at the airport diagram from SkyVector. And passing the fuel farm and next the tower. And that Foxtrot turns into Alpha once we cross at the runway 32, and Alpha takes you right to general aviation. So in case you guys just want to see that, then that's what I'm looking at. So we have just come down here and we just passed the tower. You saw the fuel farm, and there's 3-2, and it turns to Alpha on the other side of 3-2. Whoa. So here's 3-2. Well, you see these yellow lights blinking, and let's say they say it crossed 3-2. Here I should pick up Alpha. And general aviation. It's over here. All right, so we're just gonna go up here and shut down. Okay. Oh girl. All right. So let's go ahead and shut down. So let's apply some brakes. And come on. All right. Brakes are set. And stall can go off. Instrument lights, stall speed can go off, landing lights can go off, radio can go off, intercom can go off, transponder can go off, which doesn't look like it's bound to the transponder there. Instruments can go off, landing gear. So I'm thinking that, well, I don't know how this interface with the landing gear. ignition can go off, generator can go off, battery can stay on. Let me shut down, kill my uh, my engine, starve it of gas, battery can go off. And let's turn these mags to make them cold so that the wind does not start this aircraft. And yeah, so this is the Yak. I probably should, I got this set at number 3. All right, so we got number 2 and 1 to go. So I don't have any other videos posted of me flying this aircraft, but it is a blast to fly. It's a two-seater. I think it's a no, it's a four-place aircraft, and it features, I think, a Lycoming 205 horsepower engine. It's, as you can see, it's a low wing, and this is a vintage aircraft. This is modeled on a 1950 Navion. Now, personally, I've never heard of the Navion until I actually started to fly this aircraft. And once I downloaded this free aircraft and started flying it, man, I realized it is a blast to fly. And what's amazing is how incredible, how sporty they used to make aircraft back in the 50s. Check out this cover, this canopy here. That just makes the aircraft look so sporty as opposed to what we do today with putting these doors on aircraft. I can't remember the last time I saw a modern aircraft with a canopy. And let's jump inside and take a look around. So one of the things that V-Flight Air did was to model the cockpit after the 1950s version of the V-Flight Air. In fact, the only thing that's modern in this aircraft is the avionics stack. And even the avionics stack is outdated by our standards. No GPS, but it does have it. The autopilot is able to receive VAR. The radios are able to handle the VAR stations so that we can actually use the autopilot and take some flights of significant lengths if we so choose. So let's get our canopy closed here, and let's just click on that guy, and it's self-locking. Of course, in real life, I think you would probably have to to actually do some stuff to lock it. The dome light actually works, and I suppose that these other lights probably do work, but I have not bothered to turn them on yet. On the outside, let's go back out on the outside. So on the outside, it's really modeled to a nice high quality. I tell you, one of the things that I like is looking at threads on towers. Anytime a developer will actually take the time to put in thread designs on his aircraft, then you know he's taking some pride in what he's doing. And as we all know, V-Flight Air is a really well-known aircraft developer. I think this is one of the early models that they developed for X-Plane. So um, over time, they've gotten a lot better with their models. Um, I tell you, one of the things that do catch my attention is look at this tail light. Don't that design so reminds me of the 1950s, especially the how they would shape metal, um, how they would mold and shape metal on automobiles like the Buick. This is a complex aircraft. It has retractable landing gear and a variable pitch prop, even though the prop only has 2 blades on it. It is a variable pitch prop, so it's not a fixed pitch prop, which means that I've got a propeller that I'm moving, a prop lever that I'm moving back and forth, as well as a mixture lever. Let's get this guy started and we'll take a trip around the pattern. I'm at Spokane, Washington, and this is another one of Vertical Sim's airports at Spokane. So let's just take a quick look at the airport from high above. You can see that in Spokane, Washington, the terminals and the general aviation terminals are on different sides of the runway. So it does have 2 runways. It has a shorter 25 and I think it's 3. And then it's got runways 21 and 21 minus 18 is 3. So it's got runways 21 and 3, or 21, 360, and 180 degrees. That's where I get my 18 from. Gives me 30 degrees. Let's just get in the aircraft and get started. This video is not about the scenery, it's more about the aircraft. So let's see, let's discover. We do have a little cubby hole here. And
come in. Well. Look
all right, we got a phonograph.
here.
How about that? Isn't that cute? All right, little Easter egg that V-Flight Air put in it. All right, so first thing we want to do is turn on a beacon light on. It's called a position light in this aircraft, and there's our beacon, and that's on. Then we can turn our battery on, let people know that we're about to start the aircraft. I didn't see any primers. This may be a primer here. I'm assuming that it is, so we're just pump it a couple of times, squirt a little gas in the carburetor, and it is carbureted. All right, so the first thing, we've already primed a little gas in it. And let's get back in our pilot seat. Okay. And let's go mixture full rich and prop full in. Okay. Strobes are on. Let's clear to the left. No, nobody out there. And clear to the right. Nobody out there. Let's double check our brakes. Yeah, so that's really a good start. And let's find the yellow brick road. Now, this aircraft does have front wheel, nose wheel steering, so I don't have to do a lot of differential braking, which is great. And change our frequency to tower. I don't have any ATC in this area, but so I'm faking the ATC. But a call would go something like Spokane Tower, Navion, whatever our tail number is ready to depart, close traffic, and they probably would tell us to report midfield each time. All right, so let's turn on our labels, make sure we don't have anything landing. We don't. All right, turn off our labels and clear for takeoff. So we get up here and line up. and we'll do lights, camera. Camera is I do that each time. Camera is our transponder. All right. So we got 2, 1 on the compass, and on our heading indicator we got that was way off. So it's a good thing we aligned that guy. All right, let's drop our flaps in. Turn our strobe lights on. Landing lights on. Let's make sure that we got that hydraulics pulled out, and let's do this again. Okay, full power, 50 knots, 55, rotate, 70, I'm airborne, gear up, stall horn, flaps up, 1 notch. Well, I don't have notches, but flaps all the way in. Trim, and I think 110 was VY on this aircraft. So I'm doing 115. I can raise that nose a little bit. All right, the field was at 23, so 33 is pattern, and I think I'm doing, I didn't look at my chart to see which was the traffic pattern. So I think everything is left traffic. So I got, so I'm gonna turn left. All right, I'm at pattern 3300. I'm downwind. I'm turning parallel to the runway that I took off on. So that's 2, 1, and 3. So I should be on a heading of about 300. I'm sorry, 030. All right, trim so I can release that back pressure. Now, I'm not being kind to my engine. Strobes and landing lights can go off. Okay, I want 200 RPMs. 2,000 RPMs, that is. And hold that head in the 030. Hold my altitude. All right. And call tower, report midfield. They are to clear me for the option. All right, so we just passed midfield, and we were beamed the numbers. So let's power back to 1500. Get in that flap range. We can't put flaps in until we at least 100 miles per hour. So hold it, bleed off this speed. Get some flaps in. That should slow us down and keep us stable in slower flight. All right, so we'll turn base. We want 500 feet per minute descent. Looking for 500. All right, go ahead and drop our gear. And find our runway. Whoa. Find our runway. Okay, runway is in sight. We're on base. And give it a little power. We're looking for 72 miles per hour now. The reason I know these number, guys, is because I read the documentation. Okay. Let's trim for this 72. And let's go ahead and turn final. Okay. Tower would give us clear to land. And we want 72 over the threshold and 55 miles per hour at touchdown. Okay, so we're a little bit fast. And according to our PAPI, we're a little bit low. So I'm gonna add a little power and maintain this level until we pick up our glide slope. Now it's gonna be hard to see the PAPI. Okay, our glide slope is coming in. Okay, we're on slope now. So if we can maintain about 500 feet, then that ought to keep us on our profile. All right. So we're a little bit fast. All right, track that center line. Pull that power back. We're looking for 55. Gears down. Looking for 55. Okay, we're at 60. Flare. 55. And that's a great landing. Had a little bit too much float to get to actually have buttered it. Some dynamic braking here. And see, general aviation is off to the right. I'm sorry, off to the left. And that puts us back on golf. All right. Stop the aircraft. And now we'll clean up. And I use FLTT, which is flight, flaps, lights, transponder, and trim. And I don't know, I never saw a trim indicator to let us know what neutral is on this aircraft, so I am going to get off the runway, and we're gonna go up here and park beside whatever building this is. This is not Horizon FBO, but this works for me. All right, so let's do a shutdown. So, okay, brakes are set. Switches. That's lights. And let's go ahead and lean it out. and let's push in the hydraulics, turn those off, and take the headphones off, turn our mags off, turn our avionics off, turn our alternator off, and our master. All right, so she is shut down, and yeah, so yeah, guys, this is the Navion by V Flight Air, and this aircraft is completely free. I do think it's pay where grade air. It's a pay where grade aircraft, and it's hey, it's well worth the price of $0. In fact, if they were um, to have put 20, 30, or 40, well, maybe 20 or $30 on this aircraft, then I wouldn't have any problems paying that. Okay, so let's um, let's do number one. Number one is coming up. So, guys, number one is the Hold My Beer Cirrus SR22, or the Cirrus SR22 from Hold My Beer. Now, this aircraft is number one because it is modeled to such a high standard, and not only that, but in the cockpit, the fuses work. So I know I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but anytime I get an aircraft where the fuses work, then hey, I'm impressed. Okay, so I've got some a sub menu, and that's something that you normally don't find that much in freeware aircraft. So I can do some stuff with the autopilot without having to hunt the autopilot down on the console. All right, so right now it's got a rain cover on it, which is always good if you hangar your aircraft outside and you don't have the resources or a place to hangar it inside. And for $1 million aircraft, I think if I owned a Cirrus, I would definitely want to put a rain cover on it if it was gonna sit a few days. All right, sit a few days outside. All right, let's get in, and first thing we need to do is get that rain cover off. So if I click on weight and balance here, then I get this menu, and with this menu, I can control some of my outside elements. Now, I wish that I could pull this outside and take these guys off outside, and maybe there's a way somewhere along the line that I can. If you know of a way, then leave it in the comments. Anyway, so I'm gonna take the shield off, and voila, I get some light. Now, disclaimer: one of the things that about the SR22 that I find a little disconcerting is the color of the interior. This is a black on black interior, and quite frankly, I love the color black, but black can make stuff really hard to see, and so um, trying to see, black actually absorbs light rather than reflect it. So um, so I don't get a lot of reflection off the interior, which makes things look even darker, especially when this plate here is gray. So anyway, I digress. All right, so next thing we want to do is just take a quick peek around the cockpit. Um, so yeah, here I am in the cockpit of the Cirrus. You can see the display look like it has a few scratches on it, and the compass at the top, the cap system at the top. the look like there's looks like a speaker. I'm not sure if that's a speaker or a light right here. Now this is a dome light that is operated just by pushing on it, and the there look like there may be some vents in the back that the back passengers can't control, which is, for a four-place aircraft, what more can you expect? I mean, that's just unheard of. All right, and this model does have air conditioning, by the way. So let's go ahead and try and get our air bound. All right, so you can see I still have my intake covers on, and Cirrus was also actually smart enough to make the flags high enough so that sitting in the cockpit whether or not they're in. Also, I should have a pitot cover on, and that's up under my wing. So let's just get rid of these static elements. You should see those flags go away when I click covers. So we're going to take those covers off, and we're going to remove our chocks. Trust me, they're on. And the aircraft is still tied down. So you can see the shadow of the tie down right here. So let's go ahead and take the tie down off. And we should be good. All right. No tie down. All right. So let's work on getting her started. Now, the weight and balance is pretty much automatic. So I can put 1, 2, 3, or 4 passengers. Well, I can put 3 more passengers in addition to me, the pilot. So that's on the soles, and with the pilot, and then 80 kilograms or 176 pounds. And if I add more people, then you'll see the weight of the payload go up. So hope you can see that, and the gross weight changes. All right, so let's go back down to one person. That would be me. Fuel. I can control the fuel granularly here, or I can instantly empty my tank or fill my tank just by clicking these guys. Let's go with a half a tank. That's good enough. And right now, I'm in America, and we use the empirical system. So I think I got everything set to show me pretty much most stuff in the empirical format. All right, so let's get out of here, and let's go to energy, check our battery level, and our battery level says that we've got 24.5 volts in our 24-volt battery, so we're good. And battery 2 is a 12-volt battery, and I can tell because up under here, I know it's hard to read, but it says lead acid 24 volt and then sealed lead acid 12 volt. So I'm good on my batteries. Okay, my GPU is disconnected, and I am going to do a battery start. Okay, now before I start, I am going to climb back out of the aircraft and show you the airport. All right, so the airport that I'm at is Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina. It's another one of Vertical Sims airports, and it too is modeled to Vertical Sim standards. You can see if I zoom in the terminals, and what I like about the work that Vertical Sim does is he used satellite imagery to build the airport, so we know it's really true to life. what you see on the ground ought to be what is really at the airport. So I can see that my terminals is um, to the, let's see, what end of the, that's four. So my terminal is to the north end of the airport, and general aviation is more to the south end of the airport. Look like all of the airport facilities are on one side of the runway. Let's get back in the aircraft and get her started. Okay, so the battery is good. Let's get the aircraft started. All right, so first thing I want to do is go down here and turn battery 2 on, and my GPS starts up, and it starts up in a kind of real to life fashion. However, it starts up a little quicker, I believe, than it does in real life. And let's turn battery 2 on. Let's check our fuel. Make sure our fuel is registering what we thought. Then we got 26 gallons. That's what we saw. And we'll go ahead and turn our alternators on. Now, some aircraft you start with the alternator on, some you start with the alternator off. I'm not sure which way this one started, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to start it with it on. All right, I'm not going to turn my avionics on until I get a good start, because well, actually I can. I think that's why this aircraft has two batteries. Um, be, be, because the starter motor may send surges and well, anyway, when you engage the starter motor, it pulls so much amperage that that it could damage the avionics. But if the avionics is on a whole separate bus tied to a whole separate electrical source, then starting it shouldn't have any effect on it. I'm not sure about that, and since you know, if I flew this aircraft a little bit more, I would probably check out those things and answer those questions. But in any case, I think I am going to just go ahead and start it with the avionics off. All right, so let's turn on a light so that people outside know that I'm about to start it. So I am going to turn on the strobe light, and yeah. So strobe light is on, so hopefully they can see that blinking. I'm going to clear left and turn to my right and clear right. Make sure nobody's out there. Let's see, now this guy's blinking, and so the warnings is because of these master buses are on with the engine off. Okay, are not being recharged. All right, so let me get my key out, and there's the key. A couple empty beer cans. Put the key in and go ahead and turn the fuel on, the fuel valve on. Let's see, the key is right here. The mags were hot, so let me cool them off. And go ahead and turn the master. Let's see, I guess we'll start on the left engine. All right, and we can close that cover. Okay, and we'll hit our fuel prime. All right, and we primed it just a second or two. Then we go to fuel boost. Incidentally, I do have a mixture and a throttle, so, and it's tied to my honeycomb Bravo. All right, so I'm gonna hit this boost, go full rich, bring it back down, and prop clear. Mixture is full rich and prop is way too high. Let me check my ore. Ore pressure is in the green. Got 94 psi and it's coming up. I'm sorry, that was not 90. That's the ore temperature. PSI is 40. 40. Okay, so I'm getting that information from about right up in here, and I still ought to come down to about 1,000 RPMs. And now I can turn on my avionics. It's coming alive. And voila. So I'm at Greenville, and looks like my cylinder number 3 is the hottest one. I'm getting that information from right here. So we're going to release our brakes and brake check, brake check, brake check. Now this aircraft does not use nose wheel steering. It does use differential braking, which in my opinion makes it extremely hard to steer. Greenville Spartanburg Tower, Cirrus 267 hotels holding at runway 22, ready to depart, left close traffic. Clear for takeoff, runway 22, Cirrus 267 hotel. All right, so use all available runway, and we want landing lights, strobe lights. We should have turned those off while we were taxiing, but it's daytime, so not at any risk of blinding anybody. All right, and transponder can go to on. Altitude reporting, that's camera, lights, and action. Throw in some flaps, and we go full power, 100%. Power is at 103%. 65, rotate. Okay, an SBR warning is working. Our altimeter was set incidentally, so, and it's in QNH. Haven't been able to really figure out how to change that to inches of mercury. Okay, gear up. Flaps up. Gear is fixed. Okay, 1700, 200 to go. Power is set at 74%. Mixture is 4. Okay, 1900, and pull that power back and make this turn. Flaps are all out. Make sure I don't have any flaps in. Okay, flaps are up. Crosswind, and I'm a little bit off that crosswind, what exactly where it should have been, but I'm kind of looking at my head and bug because it's so hard to look out the window in the sim that that is not unusual to need to look at your instruments, even though in real life for VFR that's a real no-no. Alright, so I'm 100 feet above pattern, so I want to lose some of that altitude. Greenville Spartanburg Tower, Cirrus 267 Hotels Midfield. Clear for the option 267 Hotel. Alright, so they cleared me for the option. Alright, so I'm at 20% power. Add a little power so I can arrest my descent. And go ahead and get in flap range, which I'm already in the white arc there. So I'm gonna set my trim for about 500 feet and go ahead and make a tight turn. Some flaps because I'm speeding up too fast, and find that runway, and I see it. All right. Still a little. Okay, go ahead and make that turn to final. Let her come on down. That final notch of flaps and retrim. All right, get lined up, center line. Pappage look good, speed look good. Trim is looking good. Look at my touchdown point and transition to the end of the runway. Cut the power and flare. And that's butter. That's what I'm talking about. All right, pull that yoke back for full dynamic braking. And let's see if we turn that yoke on. Oh, this is stick, so the yoke is already on. So yeah, I get full dynamic braking. And I'm at 4% power. You can see I'm slowing down nicely. All right, so stay on center line. In 16% power, mixture is 4. Oh, I did not see that one, but I'm gonna take the one that I do see. Actually, that's gonna take me to the terminal, so I'm actually gonna take this one. Differential braking is really a good, strong way to brake. All right, so I'm clear I'm off the runway, but I haven't passed the clear of runway markings yet. So technically I'm not off the runway until just now. Now I'm clear of the runway. All right, so stop. Let's clean her up. And I use FLT, flaps. Flaps are up. And lights Strobe lights off, landing lights on, and ice light comes on for some reason, but we can turn that off. Didn't need pitot, he FLT, so that was flaps and lights. T is for trim. So I'm looking down here in this corner, and there's my trim, and then T again for transponder. And we'll go to the standby, and she is clean. And we'll taxi back to general aviation. And we'll go up here and park beside this GPU. Don't want to have a wing stripe with it. My bad. Just making sure that wing is not going to hit it. Okay, and get up here, and we are parked. We're where we want to be. And let's set our brake. Brake is set. And RPMs are low. Yep, we expect it to be. And we never did change tanks. Okay, fuel pump is off. And let's turn our avionics off. Let's turn our landing light off. And let's lean it out. And now we can turn our switches off. And I did not set the altimeter on the backup, so that was a no-no. All right. And let's go here to our let's get out of Avi tab and go here to weight and balance. Let's see, I got 19 gallons. I used, I think I had 23 gallons in each tank, so I used 4 gallons of fuel running that pattern. Okay, so let's put our chucks back on, our tie downs, and our cover. I'm not going to put the shield on. Okay, so yep, the Cirrus SR22, guys, is my #1 single engine general aviation aircraft. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this criteria, this critique of my favorite aircraft, the demo of my favorite aircraft, whatever applied to this video, and hope you would like and subscribe and come back. Until next time.
Y'all come back now. Cheers.